It's Kids Week, so I'm going to ask all the children with us this morning to pay close attention to the Gospel, because I'm going to invite you up here to the steps and we're going to talk about what Jesus is trying to teach us this week. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Great crowds were traveling with Jesus, and he turned and said to them, "If anyone comes to me without hating his father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not carry his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. Which of you wishing to construct a tower does not first sit down and calculate the cost to see if there's enough for its completion? Otherwise, after laying the foundation and finding himself unable to finish the work, the onlookers should laugh at him and say, 'This one began to build but did not have the resources to finish.' Or what king marching into battle would not first sit down and decide whether 10,000 troops he can successfully oppose another king advancing upon him with 20,000 troops? But if not, while he is still far away, he will send a delegation to ask for peace terms. In the same way, any one of you who does not renounce all his possessions cannot be my disciple." The Gospel of the Lord. Let us first take just a moment to pray to the Holy Spirit for each other. And now I invite all the children to please come forward and have a seat on the sanctuary stairs, and we'll talk about what Jesus is teaching us today. Good morning. There were a lot more at the last Mass. Now, before we guess in the bag, I think we have to clear up something. Why would Jesus be telling us that we're supposed to hate people? Jesus was all about love. Yes, ma'am.
That might not be him. It might be the devil acting to be Jesus.
It might have been the devil acting to be Jesus. That's a good theory. But Jesus wasn't really saying what it sounded like. Hate in Jesus' day meant something totally different than it does for us today. We're not supposed to hate anybody, and Jesus was all about love. But in Jesus' day, the word hate meant to love less. So what Jesus was saying is, you need to love me above all else, and then that'll make it easy for you to love other people. Now that we've cleared that up, who wants to guess what's in the bag? Yes, sir.
A cross?
You got it first guess. A cross. But this isn't just a normal cross, is it? Can anybody see who's hanging on to Jesus on that cross?
Jesus is hanging on the cross, and a man is
hanging on to Jesus. Does anybody know who that man is? Who do you think? No, it's Saint Francis. Saint Francis of Assisi. Has anybody ever heard of him?
No.
The reason I use this cross is because Saint Francis did exactly what our gospel said today. He left all of his possessions, and he was from a very wealthy family. He left everything behind to follow Jesus and started an order of priests and brothers called the Franciscans that are still around today, and they take care of the poor. So St. Francis did exactly what Jesus was calling us to do. But we don't have to go as far as that. We don't have to let go of all our possessions. You guys don't want to let go of your iPads, do you? And your cell phones, computers, video games. You don't want to let go of all those, do you? You don't have to let go of them. But you can't let those be more important than Jesus. Sometimes we spend more time on our computer than we do praying. And Jesus is saying that doesn't work. If you have to do that, your life's going to be messed up. You got to put me first, and then everything else will fall in line. What are some ways that we can put Jesus first?
You can, maybe when you wake up, wake your mommy and daddy and like tell them it's time to pray before you do anything.
Very good.
Before you can do anything else in your house.
She said when you wake up, you can go wake up your mommy and daddy and say it's time for us to pray before we do anything else in the house today. That is very, very good. What are some other ways we can put him first?
Yep. There's another way, like you can either wake up and tell your sister to wake up too.
Okay.
Or your brother to wake up too.
Okay, so also wake up your brothers and sisters and tell them it's time to pray. Very good. There you go. Another way is to do what we're doing right here. To come to church every week. And to schedule that time so that Jesus is first in the week. So there's lots of ways. We can pray. We can come to church. We can ask other people to pray with us. But he also says we need to let go of some things if we follow him. What are some things in life we need to let go of? You all asleep over there? Yes, sir.
Video games.
Video games. What else? Computers.
Your bike and your toys.
Your bike and your toys. Okay. Those are all good things. And it's not that we have to get rid of them. It's just that we can't let those be more important than Jesus. That Jesus has to come first. So his message for us this week is very simple. Actually, even though that gospel is a little confusing. He doesn't want us to hate anybody. He just wants us to put him first. And if we love him more than anyone else, we'll love our parents, our brothers, our sisters, and our friends much better. And I want to close today with a little poem. Do you all know what a tandem bike is? Bike? A bicycle built for two. Have you ever seen one? There's a seat in the front and a seat on the back. You've seen those?
Well, I've seen one with multiple seats.
With multiple seats? Okay. Chase?
I've seen one and I rode one.
You rode one, a bicycle built for two? Then you'll understand this really well.
I fell off of one.
You fell off of one. You fell off of the stairs here once too. Do you fall a lot? Well, this poem helps us to understand how we put Jesus first in our lives. And it's a poem about riding a bicycle built for two with Jesus. At first, I sat in front, and Jesus was in the back. I couldn't see him, but I knew he was there. I could feel his help when the road got steep. Then one day, Jesus said, "Change seats with me." Jesus got in front. Suddenly, everything went crazy. When I was in control, the ride was predictable, even boring. But when Jesus took over, it got to be a lot more fun. I could hardly hold on. "This is crazy," I cried out, but Jesus just turned around, smiled, and said, "Pedal." So I learned to shut up and pedal, and trust my bike companion. There are still times when I get scared. There are still times when I'm ready to give up. But then Jesus just turns around, touches my hand, smiles, and says, "Just pedal." So let Jesus be in charge of your life, and he'll take you wherever you need to go, and it will be a lot more fun. Thank you all very much. You all did great.